So we're back for part two of coffee in Kenya and how coffee should be making money for us, and farmers in coffee growing places should be earning, they should be rich, they should be giving the rest of the country loans, right? So anyway, this guy called Christopher Ferran, I will put a link on his article, and I think it's good you just read through it because he is well versed with what has been happening in the Kenyan space regarding the coffee industry, right? So we've gone through the challenges and the reasons why the farmers had cut down their coffee trees. But this can be redeemed because if the government can stimulate that industry, more production, more money, more dollars to pay our loans, yay, and also to develop our country, to improve the economic space in the country, to improve, once individuals can put money in their pockets, you can expect businesses to grow through all sectors. So it's not that the government has been doing nothing, the government has been doing something about it. So yeah, this is a thumbs up for the government. This one and the Uhuru government. So both the Uhuru government and the Ruto government have done something about coffee production, and we will be looking at that. So in the year 2021, there was the approval of the coffee bill that was instituting the coffee reforms. So the first change, the first thing that the coffee industry needs, you remember there's the high input. Well, some advisory board in the coffee sector had said that we should just like have 3-year subsidies for like equipment and fertilizers, anything that coffee farmers need. I'm not sure if the subsidies have been effected. What I do know the government did, Uhuru government instituted the coffee cherry the coffee cherry advance revolving fund, right? I don't know if I've gotten it correct. The Yeah, coffee cherry advance fund. So this fund, it's a revolving fund whereby, so you remember what I was telling you about the societies, many of them, or the cooperatives, many of them were neck high in debts, and they had no way to pay. So if they have no way to pay, they cannot pay their farmers, hence colors, it's done. Like yeah, it's done. Like they cannot operate, and if they cannot operate, where do the farmers take their coffee? Nowhere. So the government, through the coffee cherry advance revolving fund, it pumps in money, then the money comes back, and it's a revolving fund. It just goes, round and round and round. So Uhuru Kenyatta pumped in about 3 billion Kenya shillings there, just to stimulate that whole industry, right? And then His Excellency President Ruto pumped in about like 4 billion. So in total, the fund has around 6.7 billion, 8 billion. That's the range. So this money is meant to revamp the whole coffee sector so that to push up production, this money should actually come back to the country. So how that is going to work is that the cooperatives that were made defunct or are not operational or are just on their knees crying for help, President Ruto said that they will repay off their loans, right? Without any charge to the cooperatives. They'll pay their loans so that now they can start operating again. Then also, this money is supposed to, you see, the whole umbrella of coffee, the cooperatives or the societies, they are under the KPCU, which stands for Kenya Planters Cooperative Union. So that was a board that was super corrupt and kind of defunct. So now there's the new KPCU that is ensuring that the reforms that the government has made will be implemented, right? So Parliament will pass the bill, then now the implementation comes with now this board. So one of the things that they want to do is to upgrade the warehouses where the coffee, I think I should take you through that whole coffee procedure. So once the farmer harvests his coffee, if you have 5 acres and less, you have to sell your coffee through an cooperative. So you go take your coffee, they will weigh the coffee, they will wash the coffee at their factories. Okay. And then you'll be paid through the cooperative. So after the factories, they are moved, there's a movement license, actually a permit, so they're moved to the mills, the wet mills, whereby the husks are removed and they are graded, ready for the auction floor. Yeah, that's the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. Yeah, auction floor. So the mills actually hire marketing agents. These marketing agents have licenses to sell the coffee in the auction halls to now the roasters. And after that, then after it's sold, then the process comes back, the roasters are paid, then the marketing agents who get a commission, they get their commission, send the money to the cooperatives. Then the cooperatives pay the farmers. Can you see that is quite a stretch? That is where there's that delayed thing of getting payments. Like coffee farmers get their payments late. You can see there's a whole procedure. Like a coffee farmer cannot just go and say, I want to sell my coffee that's 50 kg, to US. But there's a shortcut to that. So if you have an estate, you've heard of coffee estates or tea estates, they're like maybe 20 acres and above. You can actually sell your coffee without you going through a cooperative. So that works for them. Like if you have thousands and thousands of acres, you don't need a cooperative to sell. You yourself can go to the auction floor through a marketing agent, and then you can sell your coffee to the roasters. Yeah, so that's kind of the procedure. And so one of the things that the government is doing through the reforms is restructuring of the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. Yeah, and then also issuance of more exporting licenses. You see, I think there's a point there were like only 8 agents with exporting licenses. Now the government is looking at giving the cooperatives licenses so that they can be able to sell their coffee at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. By the way, I told you Nairobi Coffee Exchange was there. It was instituted, I believe, in 1934. So it's been there for a very long time. And then the new KPCU, they are modernizing the Sagana facility, upgrading by building 250 more wet mills where they can, more cooperatives can process their coffee. They are upgrading 24 warehouses to 150 warehouses with this fund. You remember there's that money, that stimulus that the coffee industry is getting. Another thing is, you remember that also low production can be because of lack of proper education and technology and stuff like that. So KPCU is revamping its laboratories and so that they can be able to advance in the science of high production. Apart from that, they're creating a syllabus and a manual for high best practice of coffee planting, coffee harvesting, so that there's no wastage, so that the farmer can get maximum out of what they sell. So those are some of the reforms. It's pretty amazing, actually. Just in an effort to revamp that coffee industry. And then we also have, you remember I told you about the delayed payments that farmers get. And the new KPCU has instituted something called DSS, which is Direct Settlement System. And this is a system whereby they use a commercial bank. They use a commercial bank to, when the farmers are paid, the commercial bank gets the money, and then because it's digitalized, they send it to the cooperative immediately. Then the cuts are deducted. The marketing agents gets its percentage. Usually marketing agents get between 1.67% of commission to 3%. Then we have the cooperative, because they're organizing everything. They may take a percentage of 3% to up to 20%. You see, that was the corruption that was coming through, that now we have, it has to be dealt with. it has to be dealt with, like the cooperatives. That's why they are now restructuring and changing the management of many coffee cooperatives, because imagine they take like 20% of what the farmer is supposed to have. That is too much money, right? Yeah, so for now, that's part two. Let's go to part three.